What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Caitlin Clark and her career, and because I have some questions as far as like where's her career going and everything, right? And so, and I was thinking about a couple people that I've seen their careers and the different directions that their careers going in, that their career did go in. And two of these people, JJ Redick and Jimmer Fredette. Jimmer Fredette, he played at BYU, right? Jimmer Fredette was the man at BYU. A lot of hype around Jimmer Fredette when Jimmer Fredette was in college, high school and college. A lot of hype around him, and had an amazing college career. And people thought that Jimmer Fredette's college career was going to translate over to the NBA, and he had opportunities, but his college career didn't translate to the NBA. And part of the reason why his career didn't translate is because Jimmer Fredette in college was used to playing a certain way. Jimmer Fredette was used to the team being really evolving around him because he was such a great shooter. He had games where he was scoring 40 and 50 points in college, right? But the NBA was different. And so Jimmer Fredette was not able to find an NBA team that was able to revolve around him and let him do what he did in college. Another thing that hurt Jimmer Fredette is his defense, right? He was a liability on defense, which most guards, most of the time guards are. When you have like Jimmer Fredette, I think it's like around 6'2". So when you have somebody who is, you know, 6'2" and under, they not really going to be, in most cases, not really great defenders. So that was a liability, but it wasn't a big issue. So Jimmer Fredette, he never did make that. He didn't accept the fact that he wasn't going to be like the number one, like the team wasn't going to revolve around Jimmer Fredette. And so when you look at JJ Redick and his career, JJ Redick, same thing, right? JJ Redick, high school was the man. Then when JJ Redick went to Duke, he was that dude. Basically Duke was a little bit more structured. And I think that is what helped JJ Redick make that transition because JJ Redick had the green light. I mean, Jimmer Fredette had that green light at BYU. JJ Redick had other great players around him, so he didn't so much have that green light as he did. But now JJ Redick, don't get me wrong, at Duke he was the man. He could do what he wanted, but he still had to play within that Duke program, play within that structure that Duke had. So when JJ Redick got to the NBA, he was more open to change because he had to change his game a little bit from high school to college when he went to Duke. So when JJ Redick, I forgot who I'm not sure if the Clippers drafted him or the Sixers drafted him out of Duke, but wherever he went, because JJ Redick played for a few teams in the NBA, but wherever he went, JJ Redick had to make an adjustment because the NBA team wasn't going to really like revolve around JJ Redick and his skill set. JJ Redick also too, great shooter, spot up shooter. And so that's the role he played in the NBA. Like he had more freedom in college than he would have had in the NBA. So JJ Redick was able to adjust because he had to make an adjustment at Duke. It was tougher for Jimmer Fredette. High school and college, Jimmer Fredette just did what he do, and that was good enough. But at the NBA, you have so many great athletes, so many great basketball players at that level. Sometimes you have to adjust your game to what is what the team need, not what you can do, but what the team need. JJ Redick was better at that. And so now when I look at Caitlin Clark game, right? Caitlin Clark, high school, the team revolved around her. College, the team revolved around her. So now Caitlin Clark is in the WNBA. And I don't think that these teams in the WNBA really want to revolve around and I'm Indiana. I'm not sure if she left Indiana, I don't know what happened, but I don't think Indiana as a team, I don't think that they're going to want to like revolve around her and her skill set and have them lead her. I just don't see that. When the first coach that was there, Christy Sides, tried to change some things about Caitlin Clark game and it didn't really go over well. And so she lost her job. The second coach come in, Stephanie White, and she wants to make some adjustments too to Caitlin Clark's game. And I'm not sure if Caitlin Clark is not receptive to the changes that they're trying to make, but I think most people who know basketball know that Caitlin Clark is she's going to have to make some changes to her game if she wants to remain in the WNBA. And according to now, if she don't make changes, then her career will be like Jimmer Fredette. She'll wind up maybe going from team to team or even playing overseas. Now, that's not to say she's not a great player, because I even think like Jimmer Fredette. I think if Jimmer Fredette had been able to adjust his game to the NBA, I think Jimmer Fredette would have had a better NBA career. And Jimmer Fredette even says that himself. That he said that he was so used to doing his own thing and doing things his own way, he was not receptive to adjusting his game to that level. Whereas though, like I said, JJ Redick, because he played at Duke and Duke had to he had to make changes because he had other great players around him. So JJ Redick was more open to changes. And I think it'll have to, it's up to Caitlin Clark, right? Like what type of career she has at this level. But I don't just looking at her game, she gonna have to make some changes. Like the shots that she shoot, jacking up the long distance threes. And I know everybody, they talk about what's the guy named Steph Curry. Everybody talk about Steph Curry, and Steph Curry he do get to shoot from where he want when he want. But that is like Steph Curry is like the exception to the rule. You had some great shooters in all the leagues, but they always have in most cases, nobody's gonna be like Steph Curry, basically, is what I'm saying. Is nobody gonna be like Steph Curry. Even Sabrina Ionescu, right? She was known when she was at Oregon, she was known for being a shooter. But when Sabrina Ionescu came to the league, she had to adjust her game to the talent and the people that are around her. And she was able to do that. She's not just a shooter. Sabrina Ionescu she's just an all-around great basketball player. And I think if Caitlin Clark wants to be an all-around great basketball player, then she'll have to adjust her game to that level of competition of what what the WNBA is presenting her with. So it'll be basically up to Caitlin Clark. Like, is she going to be Jimmer Fredette and stick to her guns, which she can do that. And who knows, it may even work out for her, but it just don't seem it just seems like she's getting too much pushback from other women around the league. She's getting too much pushback from like her team, like her coach want her to play a certain way, like they want to take the ball out of her hands. They don't want her to be as ball dominant, you know. And so she's faced with a decision whereas though if she's gonna have to make some adjustments. But I know she won't be able to jack up threes like she wants to because sometimes her teammates are not in position. You don't want to jack up threes because you want to keep, as a leader of the team, you want to keep them engaged. So it's a lot that go into it, and everybody thinking that, oh, okay, she's gonna be like she can just do what Steph Curry did in Golden State. Well, that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they just was they was just like the outliers. Most people, most teams, you got a lot of people who can shoot who just not gonna have the success that Steph Curry did. And so, like I said, now she might wind up being. I don't think so. Though she might wind up being the Steph Curry of the WNBA, but I don't think so. I just think that her because those shots are not good shots. And I see Steph Curry over the course of his career, he shot a lot of shots that weren't good shots. Steph Curry turned the ball over a lot, more so than point guards. And so she have to be in a situation where people are going to there's like her good has to way eclipse like her bad. Because in a close game, if you're turning the ball over, y'all going to lose. In a close game, if you jacking up long distance threes, that your team is going to suffer. So I see, a situation where Caitlin Clark is going to have to make a decision whether she's going to be JJ Redick or she's going to stick to her guns and be Jimmer Fredette. And that might not be what she want because I see her adjusting her game though. I think I see Caitlin Clark adjusting her game and going on to win a couple championships, but I don't see a team making her like the focal point of their team. I don't see it. But that's my take on it. I want to know what do y'all think? Like, is Caitlin Clark going to wind up being one of these ball players, or will she be Steph Curry? Will she be the Steph Curry of the WNBA and win a few championships with her style of play? Like, will she be able to impose her style of play on the WNBA and dominate the way people think she's going to dominate? But I only way she can do that is if she have her team, buy into her the way she needs them to, and to give her that green light. Other than that, I think she will wind up being one of these two players. If she accept the role of JJ Redick, then that's what she'll be. But if not, and she tried to impose her will on a team that don't want her to be, that focal point, then she'll wind up being Jimmer Fredette. And so that's my take on it. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next episode. Peace.